Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Jurassic World Chomping T.rex. Now, the reason why I'm reviewing this figure instead of a Mattel figure, in fact, I was going to review the Fallen Kingdom Attack Pack Pro Ceratosaurus, but seeing as how Jurassic World is turning 5 years old this Friday, on June 12th, yes, this video is dated now, I figured, you know what, I should do something. I'm not going to make like a retrospective like I did for Jurassic Park's 25th anniversary or Godzilla's 65th anniversary. So instead, I think I'm just going to go back to 2015 and review a figure from that movie. And I decided to choose this one because, in my opinion, this is one of the more underrated figures from Hasbro's Jurassic World toy line. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a bad toy no matter how you look at it, but it's not the worst thing ever. So, yeah. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's just get right into this. So, first, we'll take a look at the paint, and the painting on this figure is pretty boring, I'm not gonna lie. So, of course, most of the body is this bright tannish color, which looks alright, but, again, a lot more would have been nice. On the start of the leg here, we have the JW logo, of course that means Jurassic World, and I'm not gonna lie, like, when it comes to Mattel's, like, newer figures, I kinda miss this. Even on, like, the old, like, Kenner figures, like, I really like that. And, of course, they can't, like, Mattel can't do it because this was, like, Hasbro's thing. But, like, you know, it was, like, I still like this. So, I do miss this when it comes to, like, you know, the newer Jurassic World figures, but I digress. Anyway, the toenails are painted black. And one thing you gotta appreciate for Hasbro here, they actually painted the dew claws here, which I think is really cool. Normally, even, like, Mattel, they didn't really paint this part, but they did. So, props to Hasbro. But unfortunately, the fingernails are not painted. Going to the head, we have some gray stripings. Let me just turn this over. Gray stripings that look alright. Again, like, more of these, like, gray stripings, like, more throughout the figure, I feel like that would make it look a little prettier, but, you know, still. The eyes here. The eyes are weird. They're painted black, but, like, they have, like, yellow pupils, and, like, the little, like, raptor like pupil here, the little slit there, I just think that's kind of weird, like for a T-Rex. But anyway, the teeth are painted a bonish white, which they look alright, and the inside of the mouth is painted a purplish pinkish color, which looks not bad, but I feel like it'd look a little nicer if this had like a glossy finish to it, but that's just me. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. Oh, let me just, there we go. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure is pretty bland. There are some attentions to detail here that I do like the painted dew claws and the Jurassic World logo on the other side, but other than that, the painting on this figure is very boring. So, the painting on this figure, I'd say gets a quarter of a pass. Now take a look at the articulation, and it's pretty basic. Basically, the legs can move 360. As well as the arms. And if you push this button right here on the back, the mouth opens up like so. Yeah, this is boring. This is a very boring toy. And actually, if you listen carefully, I don't know if you can hear this or not, but like you can hear like the spring inside. So like I feel like at any given moment this thing is just gonna like, or the spring inside, it's just gonna break. So, yeah. And that's pretty much it for the articulation. The articulation on this figure is, it's basic, it's fine, you know, it's all it really needs to be, so I guess it gets a pass. I don't know. The articulation, like, you know, it's fine. So, I guess the articulation does get a pass, even though, like, yeah, this is kind of boring. The legs move and the arms move, so I guess that's something, I don't know. So, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the articulation. Now we'll take a look at the sculpt. And the sculpting on this figure, well, let's look at this thing. I'm pretty sure anyone with eyes can know that the sculpting here is not good at all. First, we'll take a look at the tail. And the tail here, it's like flat, but it's also like really like, you know, like thick. So like, I think that looks kind of weird. I will say this, the feet I feel like the feet are a nice size, even though this figure does have trouble standing sometimes. I feel like that's more so like the stance it's in, and not so much the actual feet themselves. So, yeah, that's actually one thing I do prefer over Mattel's Chomping Rex, is that, like, the feet on that figure are huge, and, like, this, to me, it feels fine. Maybe if, like, you know, if the feet were like this, then, yeah, it stands much better, but even then, that still looks a little weird. So, yeah, and, well, I say that, and I have trouble balancing it, so, yeah, the feet are good size. The arms, they're alright. Just, I don't know. And of course, the biggest offender here, the head. This is not the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. I have seen Jurassic Park, and I can tell you this for sure, that this is not the, you know, T-Rex head. This isn't the animatronic head or the CGI model head. This is just like, this is like some knockoff T-Rex. Like, if you look at the pose, like, you could almost see, like, the resemblance of, like, one of the renders for, like, you see for, like, the promotional material for Jurassic World at the time. I don't know if that's just me, but, like, especially with the mouth open. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but, like, the T-Rex is running and, like, yeah. That's what this kind of looks like, but it just looks like a bootleg version of it. So, yeah. Another thing I find weird, like, the end of the snout right here, this is just, like, a separate piece. Like, why? That makes, like, no sense at all. And, like, the teeth, like, these teeth are ugly. This is just an ugly looking figure. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I'll say on that. So, the sculpting on this figure, I like the size of the feet compared to Mattel's figures, or Mattel's Rexes, but other than that, I'd have to say this figure gets a quarter of a pass in terms of sculpt. So, yeah. Anyway, now take a look at the detailing. And the detailing on this figure is, you know, it's weird. Everything is well defined, and, you know, everything looks alright, but there's just something about it that just doesn't feel right to me. Take a look at the head. All the scaling on the face there and on the bottom jaw. Like, everything's very nicely defined, so I do like that, all the scaling, but, like, there's just something about this I just really don't like. Like, it's just, like, off-putting. All the creasing and whatnot, and all the wrinkles and everything. The arms look kind of weird. They just look, like, very, like, wrinkly and old. And I know Rexy's supposed to be, like, old in, like, the movies now, but still, like, it just doesn't look good. Of course, we have the side of the leg here, which, again, the scaling here, like, it's very nicely defined, but, like, it just looks weird. Though we do have some nice musculature in the calves right here. And even the feet look really weird. This is just, like, a weird figure. Of course, the tail. The scaling on top and creasing underneath. Very weird. So, yeah. And that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. And the detailing on this figure is, it's not bad. Like, the defining is nice, but there's just something about it that's just off-putting to me. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Maybe it's, like, the actual scaling themselves, because, like, you can see on the leg, like, these scales are huge. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I don't know. So, the detailing on this figure, you know what? I feel like for the first time ever, we're just going to leave that blank, because I don't know what to say for the detailing, because everything's very nicely defined, but the detailing that's here just looks weird. So, the detailing on this figure gets a question mark out of pass, whatever. I don't know. So, yeah, and that's pretty much it for this figure. Should you get this? Well, I think it's pretty safe to say, no, you should not get this figure. If you want a good T-Rex figure, really quick, let me just pull out the Primal Attack Extreme Chomping T.rex by Mattel. And just, like, comparing the two, like, hold on. Balancing. Alright, so, as you can see, like, you know, in terms of sculpt, like, obviously, you know, this one is the better figure, but there is one thing, or actually two things that this figure has over this figure, well, one of them being the feet, because, like, the feet here, as you can see, are huge, and they just look, like, kind of weird. I mean, it stands well, but I'll talk more about the feet when I actually review this figure, and, like, the balancing and all that. So yeah, I do like the side of the feet here more than this figure here. Another thing I like more about this figure is the actual quality of this thing. This thing is made out of like very durable, like, you know, plastic, very strong. So I feel like if I were to, like, you know, just grab like each of these figures by the tail and just like bash them against like a concrete sidewalk or whatever, I feel like this one would have a much better chance of surviving than this, because like the plastic on this figure is just, it feels very cheap, very hollow, very like dollar store-esque, and I'm not a big fan of it. So, yeah. But, overall, I still think that this is the superior figure. So, yeah. So, don't get this. When this originally retailed, this costed about 15 bucks, which I guess isn't terrible, but at the same time, it's not necessarily good either. Yeah. Like, I know, like, some of the Hasbro figures now go online for ridiculous prices. Like, the original Mosasaurus goes for, like, God, I think I saw it for like $800, like something ridiculous like that. It's a very expensive figure, so honestly, I wouldn't recommend getting these Hasbro figures. Even if you can get them for free, still don't, like, because there's also storage, like, they're a waste of space. Like, you know, some figures that are good, like, you know, you have a spot for them, but figures like this, these are definitely figures you do not want displayed on your shelves, so, yeah, that's pretty much it for that. But anyway, if you want to know how big she is, here she is next to Dr. Billy Grant, and the scaling here actually looks pretty good. And here we have some hand sanitizer. Again, stay safe, stay clean, you get the drill. Now, before I end this video, I just want to say a few things about Jurassic World itself. Jurassic World, it's not my favorite movie in the franchise, you know. My first two favorites, of course, being the first movie and the second movie. I feel like those are the best. But I will say that Jurassic World is still better than Jurassic Park 3, and especially Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I don't know about Jurassic World Dominion because, well, that's not really out yet. But for right now, Jurassic World is probably my third favorite in the franchise. So, I don't love this movie, but I am really thankful that it actually happened. Because when I first became a Jurassic Park fan, the franchise was just dead. Nobody cared about it at that point. You know, like, even in school, like, I wasn't really bullied for liking Jurassic Park, and I know I said in a previous video that, you know, in 7th or middle school, yeah, I was bullied. No, I wasn't. I was just, you know, at that point in my life, I was just, you know, bitter about middle school. So, yeah, I'm over that now, thankfully, so I wasn't bullied, but there was, like, you know, like, one or two times where, like, I was sort of picked on, and even, like, you know, talking to other people, like, oh, yeah, I like Jurassic Park, like, they'd look at me funny. And, you know, it didn't really bother me so much, but, like, you know, that just goes to show that this franchise was, like, dead. Nobody cared. Different, like, you know, comic book, you know, companies tried producing their own, like, Jurassic Park sort of, like, try to revive the franchise, but that obviously failed, and, yeah, so when I became a Jurassic Park fan, nobody cared, and even when I talked to people who were cool, like, oh, yeah, Jurassic Park, like, I was watching it the other day, and it's actually really good, like, it's surprising. You know, like this movie that, you know, kind of like, you know, defined how we make movies today. They're just, I'm surprised of how good that is, you know. I get people have their own, like, different tastes and all, but still, I just feel like, you know, at that point in time, nobody cared about Jurassic Park whatsoever. And then Jurassic World came out, became the #1 movie in the world for, you know, a little while until Star Wars came out, and then, yeah, everybody loved the franchise again, everyone was talking about it again, and I was so happy. So, yeah, do I love Jurassic World? No. It's not my favorite movie in the franchise. But am I thankful for it? Absolutely. So, Jurassic World, happy 5-year anniversary of, you know, being a thing. Because, you know, very thankful for it. And, yeah, I'll pretty much end it there. So, have a great rest of your week. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Zack out.